This is James Hendricks with the Black Sheep Reports, and today I asked the question, should Netanyahu be arrested for war crimes? Now, to start off, Netanyahu is a Zionist who is the Prime Minister of Israel. Last year, Amnesty International has accused Israel of committing war crimes during its military campaign in Gaza. Now, the report entitled Families Under the Rubble examines 8 cases of targeted Israel strikes that killed at least 111 people, 104 of whom were civilians, 62 children in all. Now, Amnesty says it has a significant doubt as to whether there was a clear and present military objective in some of the cases, something that can make the strikes a war crime. In all the cases documented in the report, there was a failure to take necessary precautions to avoid excessive harm to civilians and civilians' property, as required by international humanitarian law. Now, during this 50-day military campaign, 2,192 Palestinians were killed, including 1,523 civilians, and approximately 18,000 homes were destroyed, according to the statistics from the United Nations. Now, Israel, which lost 64 soldiers and only 6 civilians, say they endured disruptions due to threats of Hamas missiles, that said that it took every precaution to minimize civilian casualties, which is a lie, but the efforts were hindered, useless because of Hamas used Gaza's civilian populations as human shields. Now, in those cases, Amnesty International has been able to determine the possible military targets. It has found that in fact it was not a military objective, that this devastating toll on civilians and civilian property was out of all proportion to any military advantage from the attack, or Israel failed to just take necessary precautions to minimize harm to civilians. Now, in the 8 cases that was investigated by Amnesty, no prior warning was given to the homes that occupants, which is totally opposite what Israel said. Now, despite Israel throughout its whole military campaign said it's always warned Palestinians to evacuate the structure before bombing. Now, Netanyahu's visiting the UK and this has already sparked a bunch of protests. Over 100,000 people signed a petition to arrest Netanyahu when he goes to the UK for war crimes. And on Wednesday, about 300 demonstrators waving flags and Free Palestine banners staged a protest. Now, Europe is actually pursuing plans to enforce the labeling of products made in Israel's settlement in the West Bank. This is to make clear that they are made on occupied land rather than in Israel. That move has angered Israel, which believes Europe is applying a double standard and sanctions on an important trade partner. Now, the British government has made it clear that a visiting head of state, Netanyahu, has immunity from arrest and persecution on the issue of Gaza, and it added in a statement, "We recognize that the conflict in Gaza last year took a terrible toll. However, the Prime Minister was clear on the UK recognition of Israel's right to take proportionate action to defend itself within the boundaries of the international humanitarian law." So, what do you guys think? Do you think Netanyahu should be arrested for war crimes against Palestinian people? Or do you think he was just protecting his country? Tell me in the comment section below. This has been James Hendricks with the Black Sheep Report. Subscribe if you're new. Links are below. And don't forget to check us out on Facebook. Our page is Media on 9/11. Thank you.